Welcome back to part 3 and the conclusion of the interview with Nicole Holland, CEO and founder of InterviewsThatConvert.com. She'll be talking about the systems that she's put in place in order to grow her businesses, the simple tools that you can use, and she'll share a 6-point checklist on how to get on any podcast.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. I want to dive back into systems for a little bit. Tell me about some of the systems that you're utilizing.
So I'll tell you a couple of tools that I love. So like I said, Acuity scheduling is amazing. It really replaces having an assistant in so many ways, and it makes things really easy. It just communicates with people that it needs to communicate with. Anything having to do with somebody who needs my time on my calendar goes through Acuity. And you can set up so many different automations and so many different emails and all the things that the system just does for you as things trigger it. So I love Acuity. I wish everybody would use Acuity. The founder, he's just such a great guy, and he created this out of the need. Actually, his mother was a massage therapist, and he was really disappointed by seeing all the work she was putting in to deal with her clients on her own personal time, and that's how he created this, and it's amazing. Anyways, Acuity, and then also a Process Street, PROCESS.ST. is Process Street, and that's a phenomenal software as well, where you can create different workflows and automations and checklists, and you can send emails right from, or you can trigger emails from it, and it just does all kinds of really, really, really cool stuff.
Is that a CRM?
No, it's a tool. So for CRM, I use Simplero and love that. But Process Street, it's for designing workflows, and you can have like unlimited people, whether they're inside of your organization or outside, to collaborate on checklists. So it's really good for like onboarding processes, and for us as podcasters, it goes right through the interview structure and flow. And then I have all of my follow-up production stuff right in there, so we don't miss steps. Yeah. And training, anytime I want to do training, whether it's for a team member or whether I want to go through an onboarding process with my clients, or sometimes I actually build out my programs inside of Process Street before I put them on the platform that they're delivered on, just because it's a really nice way to play with all of the different puzzle pieces, and you can move things around and organize.
Many times our habits and our morning routines set the pace for the day, the week, the month. Are there any unique things that you're doing in your morning routine or in your habits?
Yeah, I think something that's been really powerful for me is saying no to all the routines, because it just, I know how I know myself well. And I think, again, that comes from age and from experience, is that we just get to know ourselves better and better. And so what I like to do in the mornings is up until noon, I avoid making appointments. Every once in a while, I will make an exception, but generally I don't make appointments before noon. And so that I can just allow myself some time in the morning to be inspired. And if I feel like, cooking some stuff, I will. And if I feel like cleaning, I will. And I feel like going right to work, I will. And really I just like having that space at the beginning of the day just for me. Sometimes I want to write. Sometimes I want to listen to something inspirational, but every day is a new day. And I like to allow myself that freedom in the morning to enjoy it as I want to.
If you had an hour to interview anybody, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you ask him or her?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Thor, I don't pre-plan questions. Like I found at the beginning when I was podcasting, and with the summit, I would try and pre-plan questions, and they were fine. But for me as an interviewer, the best questions come from just connection and listening. So I wouldn't have any pre-planned questions. Right now, the name that came to me when you said that was Gary Vaynerchuk. I would really like to interview him right now.
What's some of the worst advice you've ever received?
You should do X. And this is kind of the beginning of the Business Building Rockstar brand, and why I created the summit was because I got sick and tired of being told what I needed to do if I wanted to succeed by people who, it was like you go into a program and it's just regurgitated information, and they don't know you, and they don't know your gifts or your graces or your weaknesses. And I don't believe that we should have to overcome our weaknesses by getting better at something we actually don't enjoy. I think that's miserable. I would rather look at what my strengths are and focus on those instead of focusing on fixing what's wrong with me.
And what are those strengths?
That's in quotes. Well, some of those strengths are relationships, and I get called curious a lot. In fact, I was on a show with Adam Urbanski and his wife, Bo, and Adam calls Bo Curious Bo. And so Curious Bo says to me, it's like Curious Nicole. And I just really do love to connect with people and to understand them. Again, I've got a very strategic marketing mind and a strategic mind in general. And sometimes that might seem like, I'll ask somebody like, about their problems, and then I'll be like, hey, here's this, and I have to be careful that it's not coming off as a should, like you should do this. It's more of a, hey, I'd love to help you. I'm always looking for resources to help people solve their problems.
Yeah, it's very easy, I think, to jump to conclusions, and curiosity enables you to step back and start to look at it from a different lens many times.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really, on the road, I'll be driving down the road and somebody will cut me off or something, and I won't get upset about that. I'll actually get really curious. Like, wonder what's going on with them. Or you meet someone who's like in a really bad mood. It's like, wow, I know it has nothing to do with me. Not yet. I haven't pissed them off yet. Maybe once they get to know me, I will piss them off. But right now, it's not me yet.
I love that you say that, because that's what I strive for. And sometimes I find myself, when I'm tired or busy, I fall into that bitchy thinking where it's like, and then I'll stop myself and ask myself, Nicole, why are you being so bitchy right now? It's not that big of a deal. And so what you're talking about is totally my goal all the time, not to allow other people's circumstances or what they are doing in my space to affect my outlook or my beingness.
Yeah, a friend of mine came up with, I don't know if he came up with this, but this is where I heard it from him, was every situation you encounter with someone, you're going to draw a conclusion. Make sure that that's just simply a dot, just like a dot matrix printer. You don't know what it's going to print yet until you see enough of the dots on the paper to then really see the entire story. Don't jump too quickly. So I always try to use curiosity.
I love that.
Yeah,
love that.
Yeah, that's Steve Linder. He's a master in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Beautiful.
Amazing guy. I always, it's so often I find it in my life, and I look back at things, and I thought I had an opinion of someone, and only to find out that wasn't really their true essence. So important. So we know that the interviews that convert are one of the things that you're working on, but what else is in the future for you?
That's it, really. I'm finding more and more opportunities to speak on stage about how to be a great guest or how to really connect. It's nice to finally be lining up with everything around interviews that convert. So I've also got some boot camps coming up where people will come out live and we'll get them guest ready in a day. And again, the book is coming out in 2017. And what else? I am still doing the podcast, and I am still doing the summit. So I promised myself when I decided to do the summit that I would do at least 3 years. I don't honestly know if I'm going to go beyond 3 years because I am more niched and focused now on interviews. But 2017 will see the Business Building Rockstar Summit 3.0.
And this might be the last year.
It might be, yeah.
That would be very sad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I'm not going to commit right now. See?
There you go. Yeah, what?
I'm committed to 2017. I'm not committed beyond that.
You know, I find in podcasting, I learned so much from my guests. You know, I'm sitting here taking notes myself. What are some of the interesting things that you learned from your guests?
The thing that I've learned most from my guests is that no matter how quote unquote successful you are, no matter what pinnacle you've already reached and surpassed, that basic human emotions are all the same. We all have to get dressed one leg at a time, and that we all have fears. We all have these things to overcome. And that, as you alluded to before, the successful people are the ones who just keep doing it. And so the only person who can stop you from being a rock star, a peak performer, a successful person is yourself. There is nothing and nobody else that has the power to do that.
Great answer. Are there some common themes other than that you see coming out?
No. However, I've just shifted my show for 2017 to be longer episodes, more in depth, like ours is here on Peak Performers. Whereas before I was doing 3 20-ish minute interviews a week. Now I'm doing 1 40 to 60 minute a week. So we're really getting more into the person's story, and some really interesting things have come out from that, but each one is totally different.
Nicole, we are at the part of a show which is known as the rapid fire execution round. You have 2 minutes to answer 12 questions. You ask why 2 minutes? Because peak performers, if it only takes 2 minutes to get something done, they do it now. They don't put it on their to-do list. Are you ready to execute?
I am.
Awesome. All right, here we go. First question. Most meaningful book you've ever read?
Griffin and Sabine by Nick Bantock.
Name the skill you have that you're most proud of.
Skill. Just willingness to get things done.
Number one thing you'd like to learn in the next 6 months.
How to write a book.
One thing that you were told that turned out to be the most true.
Oh my gosh. You can do anything?
Name a profession you'd like to attempt other than the one that you're currently in.
None.
Name the best decision in business you ever made.
Saying yes to being my own boss.
Your favorite thing to do when you're not working.
Being outside. Anything outside.
Name one thing you did poorly last year, but this year you actually do it quite well.
Make a website.
How old were you when you knew you could be successful?
Well, that's a tricky question because I think I knew it from the time I was born, but then I forgot.
One thing you must do every single day.
Drink water.
Top goal for 2017.
Help more people get in front of their ideal audience from interviews.
Most impactful speaker you've ever heard, and what did he or she say?
Wayne Dyer, everything he said, just his whole message in being who you are.
He was a special man.
So special.
The one decision in business you wish you had never made.
None.
Right under. There you go. A minute.
My gosh.
Yep. A minute 59. You made it.
Oh my gosh. I thought, I was not prepared for those questions.
Well, that's the whole point.
I know.
It's just first thing that comes to mind. Wow. I just look up and there goes an hour like that. Amazing job. Tell the audience how they can get in touch with you and some of the things that you're working on.
Yeah, definitely. So the best way to get in touch with me is to visit interviews.convert.com/peak. That's PEAK. And if you are interested in being a great guest, right there, you're going to find a way to opt in to get my simple 6-point checklist about how to be a great guest, how to get the yes from pretty much any podcast you want to. But if you'd like to reach out to me and just let me know what about this interview moved you, inspired you, or, give me your thoughts in any way, shape, or form. If you go to interviews.convert.com/peak and you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you'll see links to all of my social media accounts and also a way to email me directly.
Terrific. Thank you very much. I know the value here has been immense. Thank you for your time, and best of luck in 2017.
Thank you.
Every peak performer that has ever lived or will live does one thing extremely well. They know how to take their ideas and execute on them. Ideas and knowledge are not power, but the ability to execute on them, that is real power. If you consider yourself a peak performer and really want to take your game to the next level and truly master the science of execution, I would like to send you some information about our upcoming event, Business Execution Summit. Simply take your phone and text the word BESUMMIT, one word, to 41411. And I'll send you some additional information on how to master the most important skill you will ever acquire for your life or your business. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin. Click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.